Good morning, friends. My name is Constance. Welcome back to my mountain homestead. If you are brand new here, this is the first real video for my new channel. Over on my original channel, Cosmopolitan Cornbread, I recently started doing Shabbat readings. It's just the scriptures for the day, and I have been sharing them over there, but I decided to launch a completely new channel that will be the new home for all of my faith-based content, scripture readings, devotionals, and things like that. So this is the first one for the new channel. The Bible that I like to read from is called the Complete Jewish Study Bible, or the Complete Jewish Bible. I just happen to have the study version. And the schedule that I read from is the same one that the ladies from Daily Bread for Busy Moms use, and I have a printable version of it on my website, cosmopolitancornbread.com, with a downloadable printable version of it every week. And so if you would like to get the entire week's schedule for all of the scripture readings, please visit the link down below in the video description. Now, these scripture readings, I don't do any kind of commentary. It is simply the scripture reading, and you can study them on your own and just let the Lord speak to you. It's always a good idea to pray before and after you read scriptures. Just ask the Lord to open your eyes and show things that you had never seen before. I know every time I read the Bible, every year when I go through it, I see things I never saw before, and I wonder how I didn't see them. But the Lord shows us things as we mature, helps us to understand as we're ready for it, and you just want to always follow the Lord's leading. So right now, this is the season of Shavuot, which is a biblical feast, also known as Pentecost. Our first reading is in Deuteronomy chapter 16, verses 9 to 17. You are to count 7 weeks. You are to begin counting 7 weeks from the time you put your sickle to the standing grain. You are to observe the festival of Shavuot weeks for Adonai your God with a voluntary offering, which you are to give in accordance with the degree to which Adonai your God has prospered you. You are to rejoice in the presence of Adonai your God, you, your sons and daughters, your male and female slaves, the Levim, the Levites, living in your town, and the foreigners, orphans, and widows living among you, in the place where Adonai your God will choose to have his name live. Remember that you were a slave in Egypt. Then you will keep and obey these laws. You are to keep the festival of Sukkot for 7 days after you have gathered the produce of your threshing floor and winepress. Rejoice at your festival, you, your sons and daughters, your male and female slaves, the Levites, the Levim, and the foreigners, orphans, and widows living among you. 7 days you are to keep the festival for Adonai your God in the place Adonai your God will choose, because Adonai your God will bless you in all your crops and in all your work, so you are to be full of joy. 3 times a year all your men are to appear in the presence of Adonai your God in the place which he will choose, at the festival of Matzah, the festival of Shavuot, and the festival of Sukkot. They are not to show up before Adonai empty-handed, but every man is to give what he can in accordance with the blessing Adonai your God has given you. Next, we're going to read in Numbers chapter 28, verses 26 through 31. On the day of the firstfruits, when you bring a new grain offering to Adonai in your feast of Shavuot, you are to have a holy convocation. Do not do any kind of ordinary work, but present a burnt offering as a fragrant aroma for Adonai, consisting of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 male lambs in their first year, and their grain offering, fine flour mixed with olive oil, 6 quarts for each bull, 4 quarts for the 1 ram, and 2 quarts for each of the 7 lambs. plus a male goat to make atonement for you. You are to offer these in addition to the regular burnt offering and its grain offering. They are to be without defect for you with their drink offerings. Next, we're moving on to the book of Habakkuk, and we're going to start in chapter 2, verse 20, and read through all of chapter 3. After a sip of coffee. But Adonai is in his holy temple. Let all the earth be silent before him. This is a prayer of Habakkuk, the prophet, on musical instruments called shigyonot. And I'm probably butchering the Hebrew, so just show me a little grace. Adonai, I have heard the report about you. Adonai, I am awed by your deeds. Bring your work to life in our own age. Make it known in our own time. But in anger remember compassion. God comes from Teman, the Holy One from Mount Pa'aran, Selah. His splendor covers the sky, and his praise fills the earth. His brightness is like the sun, rays come forth from his hand. That is where his power is concealed. Before him goes pestilence, and close behind the plague. When he stands up, the earth shakes. When he looks, the nations tremble. The eternal mountains are smashed to pieces. The ancient hills sink down. The ancient paths are his. I saw trouble in the tents of Cushan, and the tent hangings shaking in the land of Midian. Adonai, is it against the rivers that your anger is inflamed? Is your fury directed at the sea? Is that why you ride on your horses and drive your chariots to victory? You brandish your naked bow and order it filled with arrows, Selah. You split the earth with rivers. The mountains see you and tremble. A torrent of water streams by. The deep thunders forth, and it raises enormous waves. The sun and moon stand still in the sky, at the light of your arrows speeding by, at the gleam of your glittering spear. In fury you stride across the land. In anger you trample the nations. You come out to save your people, to save your anointed one. You crush the head of the house of the wicked, uncovering its foundation all the way to the neck. With their own rods you pierce the head of their warriors, who come like a whirlwind to scatter us, who rejoice at the prospect of devouring the poor in secret. You tread down the sea with your horses, churning up the mighty waters. When I heard, my whole body trembled. My lips shook at the sound. Weakness overcame my limbs. My legs gave way beneath me, but I wait calmly for the day of trouble, when it comes upon our assailants. For even if the fig tree doesn't blossom, and no fruit is on the vines, even if the olive tree fails to produce, and the fields yield no food at all, even if the sheep vanish from the sheep pen, and there are no cows in the stalls, still I will rejoice in Adonai. I will take joy in the God of my salvation. Elohim Adonai is my strength. He makes me swift and sure-footed as a deer, and enables me to stride over my high places for the leader with my stringed instruments. And finally, we're going to read 2 Corinthians chapter 3. Are we starting to recommend ourselves again? Or do we, like some, need letters of recommendation either to you or from you? You yourselves are our letter of recommendation, written on our hearts, known and read by everyone. You make it clear that you are a letter from the Messiah, placed in our care, written not with ink, but by the Spirit of the living God, not on stone tablets, but on human hearts. Such is the confidence we have through the Messiah toward God. It is not that we are competent in ourselves to count anything as having come from us. On the contrary, our competence is from God. He has even made us competent to be workers serving a new covenant. the essence of which is not written text, but the Spirit. For the written text brings death, but the Spirit gives life. Now if that which worked death by means of a written text engraved on stone tablets came with glory, such glory that the people of Israel could not stand to look at Moshe's face because of its brightness, even though that brightness was already fading away, won't the working of the Spirit be accompanied by even greater glory? For if there was glory in what worked to declare people guilty, how much more must the glory abound in what works to declare people innocent? In fact, by comparison with this greater glory, what was made glorious before has no glory now. For if there was glory in what faded away, how much more glory must there be in what lasts? Therefore, with a hope like this, we are very open, unlike Moshe, who put a veil over his face, so that the people of Israel would not see the fading brightness come to an end. What is more, their minds were made stone-like, for to this day the same veil remains over them when they read the Old Covenant. It has not been unveiled, because only by the Messiah is the veil taken away. Yes, till today, whenever Moshe is read, a veil lies over their heart. But, says the Torah, whenever someone turns to Adonai, the veil is taken away. Now, Adonai in this text means the Spirit, and where the Spirit of Adonai is, there is freedom. So all of us, with faces unveiled, see as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, and we are being changed into his very image, from one degree of glory to the next, by Adonai, the Spirit. That is the reading for this Shabbat, Saturday, May 27th. I do the Shabbat readings every week. I film them earlier in the week, and then I schedule them for Shabbat on Saturday mornings. Thank you for joining me this morning here for Coffee and Scriptures. My name is Constance. Shalom from the Homestead. Good morning, baby. Hi, Nubsy.